All right, so I'm on live and I know what I'm doing, not. Oh, I think I can search someone here. I want to add a couple of people, so let's see if I can invite some people to join me. Hi, everyone. I'm just waiting for a couple of my colleagues and friends to join me so we can have a fun discussion tonight. Um, yeah, so I'm just waiting to see if they're gonna join me. Hope you guys are having a good night so far. Let me see if I can add Christina. I don't know if that worked. Okay, there we go. Maybe. Let's see here. What is going on? I do not know. Huh. So, saying that you're not able to join, Christina. All right, I'm going to log off and try this again.
You did it. You
Oh,
got me on.
okay. Yay, I don't know. It wouldn't let you join.
Well, I'm here now, so we're good. So
I invited Vashty, but I don't know if it worked or not.
it should pop up some point. Or Vashty, if you're on, just hit request to join, and that should pop up at the bottom as well.
I invited her, so we'll see. Hi. So
How's your day going?
Good. And yours?
It was a busy day. It was a day. It was a day. Got through it. Lots of central channel breathing today.
Yeah, I know. I did the morning march before I got on here.
Oh, did you? I'm like, still put my lip balm on.
Calm my nerves.
I wonder if I can.
Or maybe
trying to request her again.
It did. Vashty. Here we go. Invite. Hi, I have some of my friends are watching, I think. Hi, if you're on. I don't know. All right. We will see if she's going to jump on. I guess we can start until she does. Oh, wait. Oh, she's unable to join. Why?
Is she messaging you?
No, I don't know.
No.
I'm inviting her. No, it just said that she was unable to join, like, on my screen.
Oh.
So, yeah, because the same thing happened with you. It said that you were unable to join. So I don't really know what happened there.
Vashty, try hitting request again, but I don't even see her popping up.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it just said she was unable. I don't know why. Mystery of
refresh.
Let's start over.
Refresh me. I'm like, I don't want to hop off, but yeah. Where's my laptop's in the other room. Is she messaging you on Facebook? And you just froze. Did I freeze? Someone froze. Buffering. I'm trying to fix my light here. There we go.
I'm here. I'm back.
Okay. Are you back?
Yeah, she has emergency, I think she has to take care of. She says she'll be joining shortly.
Oh, okay.
So we
will start. This is what happens. Life happens, right? You gotta roll with it. Quick drink of my tea.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of this, right?
Yeah.
We can go on the fly, adapt. So yeah, we are here. We want me and Christina, whoever is joining us or sees this in the future. We're both best practitioners, and we've known each other for, I guess, over 10 years.
About that, yeah.
Well, combined with our other friend and colleague, Vashty, we have 30 years of best experience, bioenergetic synchronization technique. That is what we're going to inform you all a little bit more about, this wonderful, amazing tool technique that is something that we all love, and wanted to share and educate people more and more about. So what is BEST? BEST is bioenergetic synchronization technique developed by wonderful, unfortunately late, MT Mortar Jr. Can you remember how many years now? Because like I haven't added. This is like
6 or 7-ish.
No, how many years has it been around?
Oh, has BEST been around?
Yeah.
45.
I think it may be
because there was 40 years of BEST, or 50, maybe it's pushing 50 now. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't kept track, but yeah, it's been a while. And so what is BEST? It's a non-enforceable energy healing technique that works as a whole system, not just looking at the body as a sum of parts. It helps to identify some subconscious blocks and old patternings that we are running our life right now. And it helps to update our body and mind from past experiences to present need, which will reorganize what you think about your life. In a result, you will have better relationships, better health, better finance. It can improve anything, really. And Christina, you want to add anything to that?
I was just like, I was just working on something the other day to try and explain it, like if you think of your brain like a smartphone, this is usually a good analogy. Everybody knows what a smartphone is, right? So when your battery starts to drain, when you have too many photos, you're running low on like Wi-Fi signal or whatever, all those things are a stress on the phone. And then in real life, it's like anything that comes at you is a stress. So what happens is like with the phone, when you update your what's it called? The operating software, like the system software, update the system software, we increase battery power, we increase signal, we back up photos to the phone. We're basically doing like a system reboot on the phone to make the phone work better. It's the same thing for your brain. So we're updating the neurological patterns in your brain so that your subconscious and conscious brain are connected to the left and right sides of your body. Things are communicating perfectly, and the wisdom that is in your body that knows how to heal the body can function how it's supposed to function.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Things just like, it's crazy, because I'm sure, Tricia, you've seen the same thing, right? Like I've treated clients, and sometimes it's like I just snap my fingers. Like sometimes things are like pain is gone like in an instant, and other times like it does take 3 or 4 treatments or several treatments, depending on how many so-called layers of the onion are there, and how many stresses we've stacked on top of each other. But what happens is when you actually get to the root cause of the stress, so like shoulder, for example, if you have shoulder pain, I had a client a couple months ago, she was grieving about her grandparents. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we cleared the interference with the grievance, her shoulder pain got better. Yeah. And as a massage therapist, I can work on that shoulder like several times, but until you get to the actual emotional issue with the physical pain, it will reoccur, or potential for re-injury and things like that. So yeah, BEST is it updates your nervous system.
BEST is it.
Yeah,
it really does. Yeah, and I've seen it too. It's and again, like you said, sometimes it takes multiple, and then the other times it's just like snap of the finger, and this whatever it is, your body does what it needs to, because it updates that pattern, that root that we got to, the root cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can do, like, I know with my clients, I'll talk about, if you think of something that makes you feel sad, and if we think about that, like you go into that thought of whatever it is that makes you feel sad or unhappy or angry, and you just go into that and you think about it, and you picture it, and you just like bring all your senses into that. How does that feel inside your body? How does that feel in your mind? How does that feel overall for you? And then you clear that away. Kind of think about what that feels like, memorize that a little bit, clear that slate, kind of, wipe it away like a windshield wiper. And then think of something that makes you feel happy, something that brings you complete joy. And then think of that, and then keep on imagining it, picture that, bring all your senses into that. How does that feel? And we can have that mixed up where something that feels happy is affecting us because we're worried about it being taken away. And then we show people how it interrupts the system, and our body might be in this good feeling, but then there might be something that needs to be updated or worked through so that we can heal the process and know. But it's such an easy way to like kind of identify how impact feelings are towards us, how our emotions play a huge role in that. So it's a easy one to like practice or just play with a little bit, like go through those different emotions and how that feels. And that's something that we are really big on, is bringing consciousness and awareness into what shows up in our body and how. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's definitely a lot of fun. I was going to say, before we get too much further into that, we'll do quick little introductions. So even before Vashty gets here, we'll intro her when she gets here. I'll ask. So Tricia, just a quick little blurb
about me.
Yeah.
What about me? So I've always been into health and wellness since I was younger. I got into fitness. I was a personal trainer, fitness instructor. I should say, for over 20 years now. And from that, I got into physio. I became a physiotherapist assistant, and I worked in nursing homes and retirement homes, also in clinics. And I knew at that time that it was something I needed to be experiencing and learning about. And it helped me tremendously, but I knew that it wasn't going to stay there. I knew there was something more that I wanted to learn. And then I went through, I wouldn't have said at the time, but I went through a little bit of depression. And it was pretty impactful for me. And I wasn't the type of person that would call in sick for anything, unless I was really, really sick. And I couldn't get out of bed, and I would call in sick and all those wonderful things. And then I found a different route onto what could support my body and mind. And I went to see someone in the holistic realm, and that brought me to this wonderful world of Best, and how amazing it helped me. I then learned and been able to support and help people with the same thing. So I think Vashty wants to join.
Vashty's on. Hi,
Heather. Oh, wait, I don't know if I got her. Let's see. So that was a little bit about me. Yay, you made it.
Sorry. Hey, sister. Hey.
So, it's not just my birthday. It's all good.
That's all good. Awesome. Vashty, now that you just hopped on, do you want to give us a quick little intro of yourself?
Yeah. I'm Vashty Dansereau. I'm a best practitioner in Calgary area. I basically, I just did an injury, but I specialize in chronic pain and injuries, and I do women's circles, and I own a space out here. And what else? I don't know. I just dealt with an impingement an impinged finger. So yeah. So
and it's like better now.
Yeah, he should be fine. We'll see.
He's in good hands.
Very good hands.
Yeah. Thanks. I was like, you guys are making too much noise. I'm going on live, and they're just like, we kind of need your help. Because we have containers, and he pinched his finger underneath the container, the cargo container. So yeah, it doesn't look bad, but we'll see tomorrow or the next day.
So did you do therapy on him, or did you do bioenergetics on him?
I actually didn't do anything. It's kind of he lets me kind of do Best on him once in a while. If his back gets really bad, he'll let me do it. But honestly, I just pulled out trace minerals and soaked it up there, and yeah, awesome. That's my go-to is trace minerals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
might sing a little.
Take a breath.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt a lot, but it will work. I promise you.
It'll seal.
Troy, if you're actually listening, you can write down how much you love trace minerals whenever I suggest them to him. He loves them. Loves them.
He's like, what? Because, with trace minerals, it's one of the supplements for the motor system. And you you had, like, so his finger is a little bit bruised. So I had to, like, tell him to kind of open it. And his face was just like, I don't want to open it. Like, we just need access to the blood. So just, like, kind of open it and then I can put it in. So,
Yeah,
like it's little, but it'll work, I promise. So yeah, so that's what I was just doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I do also on the property is first aid because I did it for so many years. Yeah.
Yeah. I always love when you put trace minerals on a wound and how it just like all of a sudden it
clots and it goes black and it's like pushing everything out and healing. It's so great. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Do either of you know how many like minerals are actually in the trace minerals? Like how many are in there? It's like 40.
I know that
like it's like 20 or 40. It's like
I want to say 20. I'm probably making that up.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. Everyone's like listening to us right now, but like, trace minerals is just one of the motor health system supplements, and it's like from a certain area in the States that I want to say mine. That sound right? Like extract trace minerals from. So yeah. I thought it's funny. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come back and be like, I just used trace minerals on a crushed finger wound just now.
Yeah, so trace minerals are a highly, highly, highly concentrated liquid of like trace minerals, which it's exactly what it is. And a lot of that stuff we don't get in our foods anymore. Our body is depleted of those things. So you can take them internally, depending on which ones you get. The ones that we use, you can take internally. You can obviously use them on wounds or burns or things like that as well. They are a must-have when I travel, which is a lot, and in the first aid kit for sure. And they taste awful. You do not want to put them directly on your tongue. You will not like it. Back of the throat, or depending, I usually try and leave them underneath my tongue for a little bit in a little bit of water and then swallow and then chase with more water or orange juice or something to get that flavor out of your mouth. But
you have a sore throat, like right at the back of the throat, kind of like, it's almost like numbing. And it's like, yes, that's what I needed. And it's for your too, like or in plants for the soil. Yeah, you can.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you have to really dilute it if you're going to use it for plants, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I put a drop in our rain barrels out here, like a little drop for like the whole rain barrel.
Yep.
Wow.
But that would work because there's the energy of it too, right? So which is what we do.
Well, Dr. Morta had a story that he actually put a whole bottle on one of his cherry trees and didn't think about the concentration and killed it.
Oh no. Oops. Well, lesson learned.
Not good either. So what are we doing? So what did you ask Tricia already?
Oh no, Christina was going to tell us a little bit about herself.
Oh, okay, cool.
Christine Parker, living in Kitchener-Waterloo area, Ontario. I've been a massage therapist for over 21 years now and a bioenergetics practitioner for over a decade as well. I facilitate energy codes, breath work, and those are that's the labels. There's the credentials. I treat all types of people. I treat some athletes. I treat office workers, kind of regular everyday people. We all do remote sessions as well. So if you're vibing with any of us and don't happen to be in our neighborhood or even our country, we can all do remote sessions with the bioenergetics treatments as well, which is also very effective. That's about it. I asked Trish much. I just asked her to do a little intro of herself.
Where I'm from, just in case. Hamilton, Canada. So that's where I'm from.
So how did you get started with Best?
So like I kind of mentioned before, was when I was going through my little spout of like a really low state. A friend of mine introduced me into an iridologist, And then I got some energy work done, and then Best came up. And I was learning some other techniques, and I met this one girl at one of the courses, and I'm like, I heard about this thing called Best, and I'm really interested in learning it. And then she saw, I find it funny, she saw someone driving a car and it had on their license plate BST, like it was Best, and she's like, it was a sign, we have to take it. And then to Arizona, and I learned Best with Dr. Roland. He's was one of the master practitioners through bioenergetics, and yeah, and then never looked back. Well, I also, yeah, I got into a whole bunch of other things and circled right back around, but always have been practicing Best ever since I learned it. Yeah, so that's how I got there. I was working on me.
So where did you hear Best? What did you hear about Best from? Like from the iridologist or something else?
Yeah, so I think she took it, and I didn't, like, I had something that was similar done to me, and then I just was like, I had this need to learn. I needed to know more about what this was. So I didn't really I learned some of it in a way, but not really. So then I was just hopped on a plane, and they didn't have it in Canada. So I got on a plane and up to Arizona and then many other places to learn Best, and then master and animal Best, and then just continued going on that journey. And then I became an energy codes coach, and yeah, I got coaching done through other things, and then I got back and took Dr. Sue's energy codes coaching, and I got certified in that 2 years ago, I want to say. I don't really know. I'm really bad with time. It's all the same. It's like yesterday. Right, yeah, so.
And then how are you applying it now, like for your own and for your clients?
Well, pretty much all my clients, like some of my training clients, I don't apply it directly, but most of the time I get people on the table, or I do it remotely. So most of my coaching clients will receive Best while I'm working with them, or I'm doing energy codes. And a lot of it, well, even with training, sometimes I'll add in some breath work and all of that with it. So it all intertwines. I remember one of my clients, this is years ago, and she came in as a personal trainer client. And then I was training her, and we were outside, and we were going to the park. So we're running, like walk, run kind of thing. And then on the way back, she's like, oh, do you mind if we walk back? I was playing soccer, and someone ran on my foot with their cleats, and I think I might have like broke or injured my foot. And I was like, you didn't tell me this. Like, this is something you should have told me prior to the session. So we get back into my studio, and I'm like, okay, how about you hop on the table? And she gets on the table. I do extremities. So I work on her extremities, and she's like, oh my goodness, that feels better. What did you do? I'm like, Best. And then she's like, comes back, and I offer if she wants to try trace minerals. She takes it home, and then after this is years ago, she comes back and she's like, so my boyfriend thinks you're a witch doctor. Like, sure. I just gave you potions, and I touched you, and everything went well.
And now you're good to go.
So I thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, yep, that's what I am, witch doctor.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what's the funny? So you're called so someone called you a witch doctor. What about you, Christine? Have you heard of anyone calling you something different?
No, but sometimes with my friends, if I because I know they're not too much into like the energy stuff, so I offered to treat a friend one time, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll keep it like, what did I say? Something like, I'll keep it like un-woo-woo or something. I'll be like as less or as no, I'll keep the woo-woo to a minimum.
Yeah, I've had a couple of my clients' husbands, they're like, oh, they call me the voodoo doctor. They're like, oh, I'm coming back to the voodoo doctor. Yeah. I'm always like, don't call me doctor, to be police. I'm not a doctor. But you can call me voodoo. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, the voodoo lady, yeah. My magic pixie dust.
Well, give them potions and stuff. Like,
especially if you're starting your home with trace minerals. Tricia, take some of this, and here's some.
Yeah. And go home and say this affirmation and all will be well.
Take a couple breaths and you're good to go.
So what is your big like focus for the coaching, like the online coaching and the just like for the healing, and what is your focus for that?
Well, honestly, I get all different types of clients that come in to see me. But I do have a lot of people that come with more mind like anxiety or low state, and their mindset's a little bit off, and they come and they're working on, bringing in more happiness and joy or love in their life. So I tend to get a lot of that coming in, but anything and everything can come up. And this is something that I've always been told. Okay, when you're in business, who do you market to, and what? And I'm like,
Everybody?
yeah, like whoever can breathe, like and I can and it always just tends to work. Like you just show up, and same with coaching. Like anything can come up at any session. It's like because of being a trainer for so long, I used to like program my sessions, like write them all out and all this stuff. And then someone would come in and they're like, oh, my back's sore. And you like have to change everything around. So I always just show up, and whatever's delivered to you, we just go for whatever's at the highest and best good. So all areas in life I focus on, because when we're working on one, it's a domino effect. We can think like, it's like you guys said, when we have shoulder pain, but if we're holding grief in it, or Christina was mentioning that before you jumped on. So we might be working on grief of something that was a long, long time ago, but it's showing up in our physical body now, and we're working on it through coaching. It just works a full circle, right?
Yeah. And that's a good thing for people to remember. Like when we treat with best, we are working on whatever's highest priority for your body. So you might come in with shoulder pain, and it might be like, even say it's a 5 out of a 10 on a pain scale, and it's probably really irritating, it's annoying, it's frustrating to have it. Maybe you can't be playing your favorite sport right now, or even picking up your kids or something because of it. But if there's something else that is a higher priority, according to your conscious, subconscious brain, we will work on that first. And a lot of times by clearing out that thing, we will get to the shoulder through that avenue. So it's surprising, because sometimes clients come in and they have a specific issue, and you might not necessarily even like work on that specific issue, but they get off the table and you're like, no, my shoulder feels better. And it's like, a lot of the times our shoulder pain isn't because we were playing tennis. There's an emotional component to it. I think all of us learned that about 10 years ago when we stumbled upon BEST. It's like we were all doing like some sort of like physical, Vashty's a kinesiologist, right? So we've all worked with the body in some way, shape, or form. So we've always focused on the physical, but now we know there's an energetic component to that, and we're focusing on the energetic component to what I'm looking for, to affect the physical. So it's less painful that way too.
Yeah. Well, that was the one thing I understood with BEST, is that, not understood, I experienced that, when I was rehabilitating people with injuries, you can actually rehabilitate without pain. And that was the biggest thing. I was known for rehabbing people without pain, which is like significant in the rehabilitation world. And so if you're able to do that, think of how long you're going to be able to be have that injury just actually functioning optimally throughout the day without having the pain come back. And I think that's like the key. The key is like to actually heal from like the actual root of the problem, and then you'll see the differences for long term. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about this is that like you don't have like coaching. Yeah, you might communicate more, but like we don't have to know a lot. They don't have to share a lot, and it can clear on all different forms, like all different levels and stuff. It's just a really beautiful thing. I think the important thing is, like, I remember Dr. Mortar said, it's not a passive healing, it's an active healing. So it is something that you're continuously doing and embodying and working on you. And that's, I think, why for myself, stumbling upon it was because I always loved serving and helping people, but I needed to do that for me in order to really step into that, to be able to really up my abilities or to be able to give the results that I wanted to do for myself and others, right? So it was that brought me to it. And I had to experience it to really get it. Because even going through that experience of me being depressed or in that lower state, I remember being a kid and learn teenager or early 20s or
So long ago, right?
like yesterday. Like I was just 20, right?
Like last week. Last week.
Yeah. But like, and having people go through that, I'm like, just walk it off. Like, you're fine. Because I didn't understand it until you go through it and you're like, oh, and then realizing how much power and ability you have through the whole process. And I love too what Dr. Sue Morter talks about is that all energy and emotions are good. They're not good or bad. It's just the same. Like, just like a lemon's not meant to be lemonade or like whatever. It's just a lemon. Like, we're just experiencing it and it's allowing us to experience, as opposed to trying to move through it or run away from it or push it aside or be stuck in it. A lot of times we get stuck in these things. So that's why I truly love the work too, and being able to do it. Mm-hmm.
Do you find
For sure.
Do you find that you sometimes do like, oh, what's this new modality, and then you always come back to Vest? Do you find that?
Yeah, like I will say that when I learned Vest, I was in it steeped and I learned a lot, and then I went off and I learned a bunch of other things, and then I came right back about, and I'm like, oh, well, but I was always doing it. It wasn't that I never stopped doing Best, but I was always like, okay, is there more that can do something else, or, and it just, totally, exactly what you said. It's always been Best. Yeah. And I find too, like the question you asked about people like who I coach, I don't know why this popped in my mind. I've been working with a lot of people dealing with grief and just grief in different forms. And I remember one of my clients that he's still, he's a senior in a retirement home, and his wife went into a nursing home. And she had dementia and Alzheimer's, and it was like grieving her, but she was still alive. So it was like this whole process, and it was such a beautiful experience to go with him, and how he was able to, because he felt a lot of guilt and all this other emotions, and to really experience like this connection back with his wife before she did pass, and to be able to process these emotions was such a beautiful, beautiful thing to be a part of and to witness. And so that was something.
Yeah. I know, I love that story when you shared it. What do you find now? Like, what do you find that is the most common thread with your coaching or just with your clients? Has it changed, do you think, from three?
Yeah, like I get everything. I
Is
can't
it
say.
like you get more than one thing right now, or is it just everything?
Most recently, I will say that like just the common thing that's been happening in the last couple of weeks with clients that have been continuously is migraines. And I don't know if you guys have experienced that at all. Okay.
Yes, a lot of migraines. Yes.
Yeah, like I've had some clients have to cancel, and they're like, can you do a remote distance session on me? Like, I'm not online. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And they're like, I can't, have a heavy migraine right now. And I'm finding that recurring, like one client after another. What's going on here? Like maybe some energy shifting that's pretty amazing. But yeah.
Do you want to share your recent story, Christine?
I was just going to say, do you guys want me to share my migraine story? So.
Yeah. You were one.
Because she was one of them.
I was one of them.
I totally forgot. Monday too.
That was a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
That's funny. I had a client in the evening, like another client, I think one or two on Monday as well. I was sorry. That was migraine. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is a good story for like, how you treat things too, right? So I'm trying to think about how it was like maybe 4 years ago. I started getting exercise-induced migraines. Well, we didn't know that's long story short, realized they were exercise-induced migraines. I've had a couple concussions and stuff as well. So there's a lot of like things that are like stacked on top of this. But I'm pretty sure I've had you, I know I've been treated for them before. I think you've treated me for them like years ago. I know Robert treated me for one time as well. So I have had a few treatments for these, but I think when I've gone, so I play indoor field hockey, and the last season that I played, I would get a headache probably within 2 to 3 hours after I played, like every time. Like it was always like every time. So I have noticed that I don't get them every time now. I do get them occasionally after I play. There's other things that go into that, like make sure hydrated food and all that type of thing. There's other things that, you know, can potentially trigger it as well. But with this one in particular, I woke up, had the migraine. When did we play? Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Started getting the migraine. I did some breathing exercises, but nothing was really seeming to touch it. I laid down for a nap. It took me out for about 4 hours. Finally took medication because I was like, can't deal with this right now. I need medication to like, because I don't know it's going to work, but it usually has worked in the past. The migraine was at about a 5 out of 10 pain scale. And just for context, if it goes to a 7, I'm not going anywhere. Like I wouldn't work, I wouldn't go out. Like I'm in bed if it's at a 7. It was at a 5. The medication took it down to about a 2, but I could still feel it right here. And then the next day I woke up and it was back, which normally doesn't happen either. Us three happened to be on a call together, and Tricia was like, I've got time, I can do a remote session. I'm like, that would be fantastic. So she does a remote session on me. Liver came up as well, and liver holds anger, which I've also been working on in the last year or so. And my liver, I think the acupuncture point for liver is like up here. And that's exactly where I get my headache. So there's a little bit more of a story behind that. But anyway, so Tricia treated me. I felt some shifting going on in my body, but the pain of the migraine was still there a little bit. Within an hour, it was probably at a 3. And then within another hour, by the time I got to work, like I could finally go to work, treat my first client, and within 2 hours, like completely gone. Within, I don't know how, and then my energy was back. The brain fog was gone. I could actually function and all that stuff. So, and it hasn't been back since. So it's just like, I'm like, you treat it with medication. Again, the medication is going to treat the symptom, right? So it's going to help the vasodilation. It's going to help the pain, you know, calm down the pain a bit and stuff like that. But it didn't treat the actual cause. So again, like I said, I've been treated a couple times for migraines because I'm feeling it's like it's a bigger issue. I'm judging it to be a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Placing my judgment on that. But again, when you actually get to the root cause, and this is where we talked about like treating the layers of it, right? So I know that going forward, it's not going to be as much of an issue. So again, we'll just keep peeling off those layers until we get to the root cause, and then it won't be an issue at all. Which is an amazing thing, because if you're out there and you've had one migraine or you've suffered from migraines, like how many people are on like medication for years, or you know, their jobs are affected or they can't function with it, and they just have to, you know, they've been told they just have to deal with it. And it's like, I have clients that come in all the time like, oh yeah, that's just normal. I'm like, no, it's not normal. And if you believe that we can, you know, address it, then, and if you're game and you're open towards addressing it, then yeah, let's start working on it, and let's get to the root cause, and let's peel away those layers and actually do something about it instead of just treating the symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi, Snyder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
It's kind of funny how we always forget to do the best on ourselves, or like just ask for. I always remember, I'm like, I do it, and then I'm like, oh right, this is so good.
Yeah.
And that's a good, like, I know a lot of even my clients, everything is like about their family, or they're constantly pushing outwards, like especially if you're a mother or whatnot, you're like give, and then and I think I was saying it to someone, I'm like, just ask. And they're like, I don't like to ask for help. And I'm like,
Or they don't even know how to. I had this conversation with my friend the other day, and she's just like, it's been a whirlwind for her four kids. And I was like, just ask, like, just reach out. Like, she's one of my friends that will actually ask for distance. And she's like, I just forget and I don't know how. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So I said, well, actually, with us, I said, well, if I think of you, I'll just treat you. Because that's probably you reaching out saying you need help. So, yeah, it's just something that we forget. I even forget sometimes. I'm actually getting like regular best treatments every week now.
yay.
So nice.
Nice. And sometimes I've worked it out with some of my friends, like, you know what, if you need help, because sometimes it is hard to ask and say, like, I need help. Like, that's actually saying I need help is really challenging for some people. I know even for myself. So it's like you almost want to work out this, like send me an emoji, right? Send me like we've got like the code word, like the code emoji. You send me that. I know you need a treatment. That's all you got to do, right? Like just like, yeah, that's it. Send me like a star emoji or something.
That's important to recognize the relationship we have with our own ability to reach out. Like, because, and then building that, okay, now I can send out that emoji, but now I can just be like, hey, are you free to help? Like, or I need some assistance or whatever. Like, just guide me through this, because then it builds, I think, what we're moving into even more, like with our class next week. Next week. I was like, next month. Next week is about building better relationship with yourself, building better relationships with your relationship with food, with your and just the way we're able to be conscious of that, I think, is an important thing to recognize. Like, even, I do the same thing. Like, I use essential oils, I use Best, I use all these things, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, my headache will go away. Like, I'm just gonna like see it if it just goes away on its own. Like, no, why? Why am I gonna push through this? Like, there's no reason for that. I have all these people, even just to sit and breathe can help slow down and navigate through it in such a better way than sit and
Yep.
like,
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of migraines, like I have a client, she's like the central channel breathing like does help take a couple of points off of her migraines. I'm like, awesome. So like Tricia was saying, we do have a master class coming up soon. We are going to be focusing on healthy habits and things like that. There's going to be habits, how you relate to your habits, how you feel about your habits. Hi, Robert. And and we are going to be doing remote sessions as well. We're going to be doing group remote sessions. So we're going to be clearing some interferences that you may have about some of the healthy habits that we feel like we have to do, right? So when we think of like, how much water are you drinking, or the right foods to eat, or how much are you exercising, right? Like there's stigmas that can go along with that of what, society tells us we have to do. But it's like, okay, who cares about that? What is your relationship with it? How do you want your relationship to look like? What do you feel about your relationship? And we're going to be going into a lot of that on a much deeper level. So if you're interested in that, you can DM any one of us. We've all got the link to sign up. I don't know, Vashty, if you've got, she may or may not have the link handy. That's okay. It's fine. You can DM any one of us. And we will have, so it's going to be next Thursday. It's going to be via Zoom at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Either you guys are stuck, or I'm buffering or something. Turned on video. There we go. Just figuring it out.
I also want, as you were talking about that, oh, there she goes. She said
There's the link. Can we pin that?
Go get it.
Pin that to the top.
I had a line for all of us here is, what do you guys, and why what do you prefer doing, in person or remotely, with your clients when you do work with Best? And like, if there's a reason why, or neither, you like them both, or you don't like any of them. No, I'm just joking.
Depends, and both for different reasons. I'm massage therapy, right? So sometimes I incorporate Best into the massage. So it depends on what we're working on. Because when I do Best before a massage treatment, it just allows the muscle tissue to relax that much more, and I get in the muscle tissue and treat it more as well. But I like doing remote sessions too. So yeah, they're both great.
My niece just joined, so I was just saying hi.
I like both too. I honestly I love the on like my hands on the body because I just feel like there's a like my kinesiology just comes out there. Like I feel very comfortable. So working with the body and injuries, I love doing. But what I find with distant healing, it's really fun. Not fun. Well, it is fun because like I find it like there's points where you come in for best and you're like on the head or on the body. But what I found with distant ones, like I would be going like into the energy field of the body and finding points like the back of the eye and like so I found like it was more like I find it was just an expansion of the field. Like I was just like, oh, this is so I really find that the like for me, the distant healing really helped me with my intuitive healing. So when I started doing distant healing, I'm even more sensory when I'm in the physical, when I'm a physical body. So I think that as a practitioner, I think it really helped balance me out.
And I find as like from a different point of view for the clients, I find it depends on the client, but like some clients from doing remote or they are learning more on their body, like they're sensing different things, lying and not being on them, like touching them physically. So that's what some of my clients like just how in tuned they're becoming more so when it's a remote session. I find that pretty fascinating and fun. And I'll say because it popped in my head. This was like with one of my other techniques that I learned distant work years ago. I remember when we had a family cottage, my mom called me or I was talking to them and I was away or I was at here and they were at the cottage. She's like, I have a killer headache. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to do some work on you? She's like, you can do that, and thinking I'm nuts. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, just go lie down and I'll work on you. And then I did what I did. And then I talked to her later that day and she's like, I don't know what you did, but it worked. And I worked on her in person and there's a relationship there. So mother and daughter, I find it sometimes harder to treat. I, in the past, found it harder to treat on the body. And then I did that, and then she's like, okay, whatever you did worked, and she got sold. Like, it's like, I don't know what you just did, but thank you very much. I do that every time. So it was, and for me, it was great because then I was able to assist and guide my mom, but not have to work physically. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did you?
Like you echoing?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah. What just happened?
I don't know.
Are you getting a phone call or something?
Nope.
Oh, is someone getting a phone call? No.
Right.
Well, that might be a good place for us to stop.
I think it might.
What's wrong though?
No.
Oh, I think it's fine.
Is it?
Do you hear a delay?
No, you don't
Totally hear a delay.
Oh, I don't hear anything. I think it's normal, but
Okay.
people listening, do you guys hear a delay?
I'm gonna.
Vashty
Now she's frozen.
sounds normal. I hear a delay. I don't know what Tricia's buffering right now.
I just back.
Yeah, you're back.
I was just seeing if there's a delay.
I can hear the. Maybe it's not
Ontario.
Okay.
There's a delay.
Roy's saying there's a delay.
Oh.
All right.
I'm gonna let Vashty sign off. She's the only one that doesn't have a delay. No, like Vashty.
Say goodbye to everybody. Oh, bye. Okay.
No.
Armin's like, okay, we're ending. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for today.
Remind them about the master class. Okay. Okay, now we're normal?
Now we're normal. Maybe it was
That was weird. Okay, and Heather was saying it was just with me that there was like, I don't know what happened there. Just, yeah, I mean, who knows? Anyway, masterclass next Thursday night, 7 p.m. if you want it in. It's donation only. So if you want to, you know, like I said, donation only. We've got the link. It's in the feed, but we'll post it again. It'll be on our stories and Instagram and all that stuff. So
join us.
we're good. So come on out for more fun.
More fun
Okay.
and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Have a great night. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone. Bye.